Hello, my dear students. How are you all? Hope you are enjoying the lectures that are being uploaded for you, making notes, writing them down in your notebooks, studying all the subjects simultaneously. Okay, very good. So, in this week, I'm going to just take up discussion of question bank. That is, we are going to discuss actually 1 mark questions from the question bank that we have for English, and the unit that we are going to take up is unit number 2 dear. So when we started our online classes, this was the first lesson I had taken. Hope you have those videos, that explanation what I had given, the notes that I had given, and also you might be having a textbook to refer. So basically what we are going to discuss, rather I want you to I suggest you to write down the answers, because it is up to your understanding. Okay, so these are some extra questions apart from the text, and maybe you will get one or two or even more questions repeated from the text. And sometimes while you are solving, especially the objectives, that is our 1 mark questions, you will find that many questions, or maybe more than one or two questions, will have the same answer. But read the question carefully, and even if the answer is same, look at the question, how the question is twisted, how the question is put in different words to trick you, to puzzle you, to confuse you. So, 1 mark questions will fetch you either 1 mark or 0, because objective type answers will always be either correct or wrong. Like you get 3.5, 2.5, 1.5 in 4 marks, or a half extra for long answers. Here in objective, that is 1 mark questions, you will not have the concept of getting half mark. Either you get 1 mark or you lose that whole 1 mark. So you have to be very, very specific in answering 1 mark questions. Now, sometimes 1 mark questions appear in your question paper from the textbook, in middle of the lesson, from in between of the lesson. 1 mark questions are not always only those questions which are given in comprehension 1 in your textbook. This is one thing. So, out of those comprehension 1 questions of any lesson also you can get in your exam. Other than those questions, any 1 mark question can be prepared keeping in view the whole lesson. I hope you are understanding what I am trying to tell you. Now, what happens is, sometimes some students have the tendency of reading only those questions and answers which are given after the lesson. That is what we write in our notebooks generally. Comprehension 1, comprehension 2, comprehension 3. Now, in that comprehension 1, not all the possible questions are asked. So, we are going to solve question bank so that we can have additional questions on the same lesson, apart from those or including those given in the textbook. I hope you are understanding what is my point of telling you this? Now, coming to answering of 1 mark questions. 1 mark questions are objective type questions. This you already know. These questions, that is, questions carrying 1 mark, have to be answered either in one word or in a phrase. What is a phrase? A combination of 2 to 3 words. Let's say, for example, in the evening. So this is a phrase. Then, or at the most, one sentence. Not one line, one sentence, one complete sentence. Let's say, for example, who is the king of the jungle? You can simply write the lion, or you can put it in a complete sentence. Say, the king of the jungle is the lion. So clear? This is how you have to answer 1 mark questions. Be specific. Now, you should read the question carefully first. Read it twice again. Read it for the second time. Because sometimes questions like who and to whom are a bit tricky and confuse us. Who killed so and so? And by whom was so and so killed? Now here both the questions mean the same. So sometimes students, in the tension of writing the exam, or confusion, or your disturbed state of mind because of the exam pattern and all those things, sometimes uh, you know the answer but you make a mistake in answering. So that should not happen, because as I told you earlier also, objective type means 12 marks, 1 mark for one question. So 12 questions, either you get those 12 questions or you get nothing. So you should be very specific in answering 1 mark questions. Then sometimes only you are expected to write some numbers. Say, for example, when was so and so born? So write only the date. What time did so and so come home? These are all general questions I am telling you just to give you examples. Okay. So write only the timing. Finished. So that is how you have to answer 1 mark questions. Now, I hope you have maintained a notebook and already you have written down question and answers, notes, some important meanings, extra notes that I have given you in my previous classes right from the beginning. So I assume that you have a notebook ready with you. So now for this week, we are not going to take up any explanation of any lesson. What we are going to do is, rather, I am going to give you some additional questions, and I expect you, rather, I wish that you write answers to these extra questions in your notebook only. The same notebook you can continue, write the unit number, the name of the unit, and write solving question bank or solved question bank, and give title 1 mark questions. So here I have already mentioned for you. So these are questions from question bank. Again, I am telling you the same thing. Sometimes you might feel that the question is repeated, or you might feel that 2 or 3 questions have the same answer. Doesn't matter. But you write all these in your notebook. So this is the assignment for this week, and once we are uh, instructed to start with your offline classes, that is whenever we meet in the college and start our actual classes, that time I will be checking these answers and I will be seeing whether you have solved this question bank or not. So please students, keep a record of all these things because they are going to be evaluated later once the college and classes begin. Okay, so I've told you here already. So these are 1 mark extra questions from the question bank. These are to be solved by you and written in your English notebooks. Now actually there is no need to go on reading all these questions. You can see the slide and read, but maybe sometimes I came to know that the slides or the written things get blurred, so I am just reading it once, all the questions for you. Now you have to take your notebook, refer the textbook and start writing answers for these questions. Now the topic that we are discussing on today is unit 2, 2 dear. So all the questions are from the same lesson. Question number 1. Mention any one of the commodities that was taxed by the King of Monaco in 2 dear. Mention any one of the commodities. If you have read the lesson carefully, you will know that there are 2 or 3 commodities mentioned which was taxable. In out of those 2 or 3, you have to mention any one. So one word answer. So now go to the textbook, refer, read the lesson thoroughly once again and start answering. Excuse me. Then, name the special source of revenue in the Kingdom of Monaco in 2 dear. Question number 3. What business does the King of Monaco monopolize in 2 dear? Then, question number 4. Mention one of the sources of the king's special revenue in 2 dear. Students, I am telling you again repeatedly, read the question carefully once, twice, thrice. Understand what answer you are expected to write and then only write the answers. Question number 5. What was the initial punishment given to the criminal by the council in 2 dear? Question number 6. Mention one of the reasons for altering the death sentence to life imprisonment in 2 dear. Then, students, sometimes 1 mark questions will have a multiple choice question like this. The 7th one you are seeing on the slide. You have 3 options given. Out of that, one will be correct. You have to write that correct option again. Question number 7. The king's special revenue in 2 dear came from option A, gaming house, option B, poll tax, option C, tax on tobacco. Question number 8. How many soldiers were there in the Kingdom of Monaco in 2 dear? Question number 9. How much did the king spend on the criminal annually in 2 dear? Sorry. Excuse me. Question number 10. Where is Monaco situated in 2 dear? Question number 11. How much would a guillotine and an executioner cost if supplied from France in 2 dear? In other words, what does this question mean? How much did the French government quote for the guillotine and executioner? Correct? Yes. Then question number 12. The people of Monaco mentioned in Two Deer were, this is again a multiple choice question with three options. Option A, sociable. Option B, peaceable. Option C, fashionable. So, read the lesson carefully, understand and choose the correct answer. Then, question number 13. What is the population of Monaco in Two Deer? Then, question number 14. Who, according to the council, was a brother monarch in Two Deer? Question number 15. How much money did the Italian government demand to supply guillotine and an executioner? Sometime before we read how much did the French government quote. Here the question is how much did the Italian government quote to supply the machine and executioner. So read the question carefully and answer. Question number 16. Name the toy kingdom mentioned in Two Deer. So these are some questions from the lesson Two Deer. In our next week's class, we are going to continue with the same unit number 2, Two Deer. Again, I have some additional questions, that again 1 mark questions only, objective type, for you to answer. So these are, in today's class, you have 16 questions from the question bank of the same lesson. You are supposed to refer the textbook, read the lesson and write down answers to all these questions in your notebook. I hope you are going to do it. Okay. See you in the next class. Till then, write the answers. All the best. Bye. Take care.